The SOC is where pressure is real and impact matters. Join the Anti-Siphon Training SOC Summit, free, live-streamed March 25th. Then go deeper with hands-on training March 26th through April 10th. Learn more at antisiphontraining.com/event/SOC-summit.
You were going to do a podcast now, Derek.
Okay, that's fine. I don't usually know where I am.
You are in the interwebs. You're in the tubes.
Sweet.
I feel like using the word interwebs definitely makes me sound old now.
That's one of those words I put up there with sports ball. Like, I know what you mean, but do you know what you mean?
How do Gen Z people talk about the internet? Do they? Is it just like the air? They don't talk about it because it's always there. Like, I don't know.
I've often wondered that because the current iteration of the internet wasn't around when I was a kid, right? We had bulletin boards and dial-up kind of stuff, but that really was towards the early 90s, or as my kids would like to point out, the late 1900s.
You were born in 19. Once you say 19, you're like, oh, I'm old. Basically,
yeah, right.
Like, they just hear.
But I just wonder if the internet is just like something that my phone does to my kids, right? Like they just literally just assume it's like a thing. They never knew life before that. So
yeah, I would say I would go install TikTok and then you'd find out, but I'm definitely not going to do that. So
yeah, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah, TikTok and Alexa are both things that will not enter my house.
I have an Alexa out in my garage just because it's easy. Like if I'm doing something, just to tell it to play music. I have it hooked up to Sirius. I like its only function is to do that. If I was a better nerd, I would just hook up a Raspberry Pi or something to do that. But
I'm just more concerned about it eavesdropping.
I just assume everything is doing that because it's fun. Me and my wife will talk about something, and I used to not believe in the phone eavesdropping on you. I was like, it's just a coincidence. You must have searched that before, and then we'll talk about something, and then later on, Instagram will just start giving her ads. Like, there's no way that she's getting ads for jujitsu gis because she doesn't do that. So we were just talking about me getting a new one, right? And so I do think
it's helping you.
Yeah. Well, soon we'll have like agentic shoppers that I just say, hey, go book me a plane ticket. And it goes off and does all the research and legwork. And next thing you know, it's using my credit card for me. That's not terrifying at all.
We'll do that for you now.
I was going to say,
I'll do that. Yeah.
That's here. It's just only here. It's there on the bleeding edge if you want to go ahead and risk yourself. Do you think your credit card company is going to are they going to be cool with that? Like, oh, this was an unauthorized purchase, but I did authorize the AI to make the purchase, but it went crazy and bought me a first class ticket to Dubai because it saw a really good ad for why I should go to Dubai. And so now I'm in Dubai and I need a refund.
It ordered a Ferrari. I don't know why.
It just ordered one.
There. The Ferrari would get me there quicker by 10 minutes than actually flying. If I did 180 on the interstate.
You can take an interstate to Dubai?
Yeah, exactly. It was a hallucination, Bronwyn.
A hallucination or a confabulation?
One of the two. I don't know.
One of the two.
I'm glad we have the AI experts here on our news show because there's a lot of AI articles this week, as there is seemingly every week. But
I mean,
yeah.
Have you done a news story in the last year that didn't have at least one AI topic related in it?
Probably, but I forget what it was.
Was that when everybody just said, screw it, we're not going to talk about AI?
We just skipped it. Yeah, it'd be fun. We do like an AI free week on the news. And just talk about good news. There's a new recipe for cereal where they can reduce the cereal by 12%.
They have
That's all we got.
Non-nutritive cereal varnish for us to try out.
Okay, I do have a little bit of pre-show banter. Okay, so I saw this Reddit thread that just kind of broke me and made me laugh, and I'm curious if you guys think it's funny too. So basically, someone posted to Reddit, and they were like, I think rice is too small. Like, I wish it was bigger. Like, I wish rice was just one big, loaf of rice instead of, individual smaller grains. Like, I want to just eat, one or two rice. And then And then the first reply was, "That's a potato." It's just a really big rice.
That's probably not too far off.
I know, right? Hello, and welcome to Black Hills Information Security's Talking About News. It's February 23rd, 2026. And we're here with AI-generated individuals, including me, myself, Corey Ham. I have a eye test in my description. If you can read that, you should see a doctor because your vision is way too sharp. We have Bronwyn, who also has a funny bumper sticker. Do not tailgate Bronwyn. That's what we've learned. Although do tailgate with Bronwyn. She has good recipes. She's got some jams. She's got cakes. Even if the cakes are AI generated, that's okay. We got Brian Furman.
Cake.
Oh, wait, John's here? We got John just like fishing us.
It's a John sighting. Hello, John.
I every once in a while show up to my company.
John, who's possibly in his closet, we'll confirm that later. We've got Brian, of course, our resident. Oh, yep, confirmed. Who's our resident PhD in the room to be an adult, I guess.
Hey, everyone.
You're going to be an adult? Do you promise not to be an adult?
PhDs, you know that's not true. They're not the adults in the room. So
just promise not. He didn't put PhD in his name, though, so you know he's not one of those PhDs.
No, he's not.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We've got Derek, who is one of those PhDs.
I am not a PhD.
But if you were, you would be, right?
I don't think so.
Wait, hold on. Two things. One, Brian, you owe me your thesis because everybody whose degrees I pay for, I put in my cookbook shelf. I need that. Derek, I need yours too. But Derek, I thought you were thinking about taking some time off and going for your PhD, though.
Oh God, no! Oh Lord, no! I didn't really.
John's like trying to make tacos, and he's reading some dissertation about like.
Yes, that's what I do. That's it. I'm excited about it.
I didn't have a thesis. I had a capstone project that their paper was published, and so I could just go get you the paper, and you can print it out and read it.
Print it out, send it to me in a hardcover.
That's what I will do.
We got Shecky. Oh, he's here. He put his real name. That's scary. I'm just going to call you Shecky if that's okay.
That's perfectly fine. That's what everybody calls me anyways. So
okay. And we've got Megan, of course, who made the title so small. No, not really. That's not true. She did notice it, though, before anyone else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. All right. So let's start off with this keep Android open thing. I don't know. Like, is this the thing? I kind of messaged a bunch of people and was like, is this a real thing? And basically, I think it's fair to be angry about this. This is like, I think it just goes away from the spirit of Android. A lot of people were sold Android as a open platform, and now it's not so open anymore, or it's potentially going to become not so open anymore, and people are upset about it. I guess, John, you were the one who sent this in, so do you have a hot take on this?
I do. And this is going to monologue, and I apologize, but no one here is not used to that. So Cory Doctorow's presentation, The Coming War on General Purpose Computing, is absolute reading for anybody to understand where we're at. This is not about security, even though security is part of it. It's predominantly about how you can lock people into an ecosystem to where the only way that they can load apps is through your store, that they get a percentage in the cut from the sales on that. So an example would be, I have an app, let's say, Kindle. All right. So if I have a Kindle app on my iPhone, right? If I want to buy a book on my Kindle app, it has to take me to my browser, which is logged into Amazon, and then I can purchase the book. And the reason why Kindle is doing that is because iOS and Apple have made it that if you have any in-app purchases, then they want their percentage and they want their cut of every single one of those purchases. So it's not about security for a lot of this stuff. It's all about making money on these particular things, right? So if you're looking at this, Google wants to do the same thing, because with Google, you can enable third-party applications. I remember Fortnite. You used to have to install Fortnite using third-party applications and enabling it and then downloading it. It was a pain in the ass. But the reason why is inside of Fortnite, you could have in-game purchases. And they wanted to do that outside of the Google Play ecosystem. So what's happening now is you have Microsoft, Google, and of course Apple that are forcing everything to go through their ecosystems, right? You have to go through their stores, you have to go through their verification for absolutely everything that you do. And this bothers me for a couple of reasons. One, it does somewhat help security, I think, but we see lots of examples of malicious apps making it through. The other reason why this bothers me is it does actually make security testing more difficult. With a general purpose computer, you can download software, you can install it, you can evaluate that software relatively easily. With these particular ecosystems, it's not very easy. Like getting root level access on your device, while possible, is not a given in these particular fields. So that means that there's wide areas of places that are not going to get the level of scrutiny and research that we talk about all the time on this show dealing with privacy, right? How much are apps giving data away about you that you don't feel comfortable them giving away? The problem with that is in these types of ecosystems, it becomes more and more difficult for us to identify how much of our privacy is being lost. So this is bad for a number of reasons. It's just one more notch that's turning. And honestly, we need a full, true open source Linux phone. I know people talk about Libre phones, and I can't remember the
Graphene.
Graphene OS and all of that. We need these things, but they're making it more and more difficult to install these third parties onto existing hardware platforms. With like even now, you used to be able to get a Pixel, and you could install a bunch of these third party operating systems onto existing Pixels, and they're discontinuing that Pixel line and making it more difficult. So there's a lot wrong with this. It's difficult to test the security. It's difficult to validate the privacy and issues, especially as we're moving into the age of AI. It's getting more and more locked in to where you're spending more and more money just trying to get third-party apps to work, and they're taking a bigger and bigger cut out of it. We're getting higher and higher into the oligarchy scale. And I'll leave one thing. If you want to look up something terrifying, look up the Gini Index. Gini Index has to do with the number of economic dispersion. A 1 would be everyone makes the same amount of money. A 100 means that only one person makes the money and no one makes any other money. No one makes anything else, right? The French Revolution happened at a Gini Index of 82. And we are currently at 83. So there's more and more consolidation into these oligarchs, into these people that are running these apps. We need diversity. We need competition. We need open source platforms, but they keep getting cut back. So that's my rant on that, and I'm going to step back.
Nice rant, 10 out of 10. Would rant again. I think the one question I have, I don't know if anyone knows this, is what is a certified Android device? Is that like the new Pixel series is going to be because like presumably you could still do this, you could still install Graphene OS and none of this applies to you, right? And then you can use F-Droid or whatever, right? Like
no, but it makes it more difficult because part of what they're also doing is getting rid of the Pixel platform, where the Pixel platform was the official platform of Google and it had the like maximum level of compatibility. If they get rid of that, then there is no dedicated platform that you can, if you're a developer of like Graphene OS, being able to make it so it works with that platform and knowing that it works, it makes compatibility far more difficult because now you have all of these other vendors and you have to do QA, QC across all those vendors to make sure that everything works. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of these things tied down. Graphene did a blog post on this a couple of months ago.
I mean, to me, I'm like, this kind of kills the value, part of the value of Android, which is as a privacy option, right? Like, obviously, there's still Graphene, but if you're going to, I guess there's a chunk of people who are like, if I'm picking which big tech company I'm going to trust, it's going to be Google over Apple. And maybe who this is for is like, I want to trust Google implicitly instead of trusting Apple implicitly. But I feel like a lot of people were sold Android as an open platform and now that's changing. And, I think it's fair to be upset about it. But also I was kind of blown away that to this day in Android, you can just be an anonymous app developer and publish an anonymous app into the App Store like that. That feels kind of not as, anonymous is one thing, but I don't know. That's just feels kind of crazy that you can be like, I'm not an APT. Here's my totally legit photo ID. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be bypasses for all that stuff.
I don't know. I guess I kind of have a slightly different take on the Google versus Apple. I think I trust Apple a little more than Google. I don't know why. Maybe just because of reading The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, and Google invented surveillance capitalism. And I don't think it's ever been a privacy platform. I gave up that idea the first time I looked at a TCP dump of like traffic from an Android phone. Yeah, it's not privacy at all.
Yeah.
I do think we need open stuff. I would love to have a laptop as powerful as the one I have right now that was completely running Linux and everything worked. And when I mean everything, I really mean that screen share and Office stuff works, because that was my last thing with trying to run Linux. Is it was great until I had to do like normal Office stuff, and then it really sucked.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that people should watch if they're looking at surveillance capitalism is there's I think it's on, oddly enough, it's on YouTube, called The Creepy Line. Mike Felch, who worked with us currently at Trusted right now, he recommended that to me, and it's terrifying because Google's whole market idea was to push that surveillance capitalism right up to the creepy line, where they didn't want to cross it and become too creepy, just underneath that as well.
All right. Speaking of creepy, next article. This is probably going to be a short one. I don't think anyone will disagree or have hot takes on this, but I'm sure I could be proven wrong. So Meta patented technology that is going to use AI to take over a dead person's account so you can keep talking to them after they are dead.
This crosses the creepy line.
Nothing creepy about that at all. No.
So
as somebody that is in charge of both my late parents' Facebook accounts, which don't have much on there, I find that completely irresponsible. Quite honestly, it's the worst idea of AI usage. And I understand that there are some people, and again, from my point of view, would I love to hear my parents talking to me at some point in time? Yes, I would. It would be a dream to go ahead and be able to say mom, dad, and hear their voice again. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. But they're preying on people that want to go ahead and have these messages. And a lot of times this is not going to go right, because you don't have, even if they did it, it doesn't have the data points to go ahead and truly be what this person's personality would be like, unless they had posted a ton of stuff. There's way too much that could go wrong with this than would ever go right.
Yes.
I think about
I fully agree.
Bo Burnham was the guy that did the thing outside on Netflix that was huge in COVID. And he had an interview where he's like, you need to understand that these people are coming for every waking moment of your life. They want every possible moment. They want you to be addicted. They want you to be hooked in. And the thing that bothers me about this is they're going to be trying to market and like seriously monetize us after we're dead. Like it feels, if you talk about this as way across the creepy line, that really bothers me. I know this sounds weird, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm suicidal or anything, but when I'm dead, I want to be dead. I don't want to live on in Facebook, because that's hell. And I don't want to die and go to hell. I don't want to be a Facebook.
There's proof of the afterlife, finally, and it's in Meta.
Yes.
I have no mouth, yet I must scream, but here's my Instagram reels. That's nuts.
I just love the idea that they would do it and then they would monetize it. So it'd be like, hey, mom, I miss you. I miss eating the delicious taste of SpaghettiOs, son. Like it's just injecting ads into a dead person. Like, I'm sure they would pull that off.
I've never been
like
more happy to not have a social media presence. Like, I really don't Facebook or Instagram or tweet or anything, because I thought it's been stupid forever, right? But whatever. I mean, I get it. I've never been more glad not to have that content out there.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, okay.
Oh yeah.
Look at me. People are creating AI chatbots of me because there's a lot of me on the internet.
Yes. If you get a call from John Strand, it's probably not real. Yeah.
I remember.
This leads us
a couple years ago. You or me, Shecky? Okay.
Shecky?
Go ahead.
I remember a couple of years ago when I first started reading articles about people using AI to recreate a loved one that they've lost, and it was part of their grieving process. And then very shortly after that, it was turned into a product. Grieving involves letting go. I mean, come on. Yes, I have people in my life that I wish I could sit down and have a conversation with my dad today knowing what I know now that I didn't know when he was still alive. But the problem is, I don't know who it was who made the comment about data points. I don't have enough data points. And even if I did have a lot of data points, it still wouldn't capture him. It still wouldn't be my dad.
Bronwyn, here's the thing that scares me. And this goes back to, I can't remember what that series, Westworld, right?
Yes.
We talk about it and they're like, it's a book this big. This is what makes you you. And my fear isn't that they don't get your dad right. My fear is that they nail him and they get him perfect. Or people that are on social media. That really kind of like reduces it. This sucks. This is not a good episode. Like, this is just depressing crap.
Hey, it's not my fault, John. I didn't do this one.
I know you didn't. It's not your fault this time, Bronwyn. I'm not going to blame you, but like, you know, we got people saying this is uncanny valley shit. This is a whole new layer of that, right?
This is a step towards altered carbon. If
yeah,
you read the book or seen the show,
so.
Altered Carbon, that's all I needed to
by
say
the
about
way,
it.
The books are way better than the Netflix series.
Oh,
Netflix
God,
series
the
was
books are
great, but the
wonderful.
books are fantastic.
Oh,
I wish he didn't
excuse
stop.
The third audiobook sucks because they went in and added a whole bunch of audio special effects, but the books themselves are great.
All right, Bronwyn, record us an audiobook. Just read it, record it, and then I'll listen to it. It'll be great. I'm in.
Done. You have any requests?
I mean,
No.
Altered Carbon. That's what I'm saying. You
Okay,
do the third book yourself. Just don't add any weird sound effects. If you do, make sure it's like your own voice. Be like pew pew, like that kind of stuff. All right, let's continue down the AI path. Or I guess John, you wanted to like self plug.
I did want to do a self plug because this is a hot take that I don't think I've seen people, and I wanted to get you all's opinion on it. So I just posted a LinkedIn article that I wrote up last week. I got really excited. I think I talked to Derek about it, and I was super stoked about it because anytime you have a hot take, you need to upload it onto the internet so it can be ripped off by social media.
You actually left. So, you're like, I got to go write this, and left.
I left. I literally left. So I believe that we're coming up on a SaaS apocalypse. And the reason why is this all started because we have this software that we use by our accounting team. And the accounting team is like totally madly in hate with this product. It's absolute garbage. It hasn't been updated since like 2004. It's awful, right? And one of the things I've learned, especially in the last month with the new frontier models and the stuff that Derek's been showing me, which can't talk about here, but Derek did some scary shit last week with AI. Brian Furman's working on some stuff with AI, is now every company of a certain size that has an engineer, a developer, some type of engineer, a basic, or let's say an advanced level skill, now has the ability to recreate the SaaS services that they pay for relatively easily using AI tools. Right? Oh, CyberSearch brought up Oracle. Look at all of the crap that Oracle has out there and understand that we are now at a point where people can quickly recreate those services on their own. Now, if you go back 10 years ago, people are like, we're just going to write it from scratch. That was a big no-no. You don't do that. We always said, lay down on the floor, wait until that urge passes, buy it, don't build it. We're now flipping. And it's now becoming build, don't buy. So how many of these SaaS services exist today that can easily be replaced by somebody that knows how to use AI appropriately to recreate entire SaaS services? And this gets into like literally, if you can let AI into the SaaS service with a legitimate account, it can go and crawl it, learn everything that it does, and recreate it relatively quickly. Somebody said recreate Oracle and make no mistakes. I don't know about that, but possible, right? So this means
instructions unclear. I deleted the database.
Yeah, it's like, well done. So what this means, I think that this is interesting because if you're a SaaS vendor, right, a bunch of SaaS vendors are looking at AI as a tool to do what they're doing, but cheaper, right? We're not going to do more. We're not going to get more creative. We're going to save money by cutting costs. We're going to fire people. Those companies are going to be out of business in the next 24 months. The companies that look at AI and don't look at it as we're going to do it what we do now, but cheaper, but they're looking at how they can exponentially increase value to customers, how they can do better, how they can compete in a variety of different ways. they're the ones that are going to be the ones that succeed. And in the security realm, this is really important for all of us. There's going to be a lot of new code bases coming out. It's not going to be as congealed as it was. We're going to have tons of code bases exponentially explode because now everybody's going to be writing their own code. And a lot of the code that's being written by AI is mediocre. It works, it does what it's supposed to do, but it has security vulnerabilities in it. And I think that this is going to be a lot of work for the industry moving forward. So that was the gist of the article, and I wanted to get it out there and get people's thoughts on it.
Well, speaking as a former developer, a recovering developer, I know for a fact that humans are really good at generating crap code too. Is that a swear jar violation? Sorry.
Nope.
No, crap.
I mean, I got it even before I knew anything about cybersecurity. When I was totally, completely ignorant about cybersecurity, I still ragged on my fellow developers about, no, that's a bad idea. I mean, it just input validation, throwing your key value pairs in the URL. I mean, really, no, you don't want to put sensitive information in there. Why is this such a difficult concept? What I see is, I agree with John that, yeah, we're going to see a lot of people rolling their own, vibe coding, whatever it is, so that it can be bespoke to their own individual needs or wants or desires to their what's the word I'm looking for? It's I'll think of it later. Anyway, whatever their peccadillos are, whatever it is they want, they're going to have the vibe code do this. It's going to be duplicating bad things that it has learned from the human generated code that it has absorbed. And because these people don't have any kind of software development background, they not only don't know that there are security issues to be addressed, but even if they do know that, they don't know how to fix them.
Yeah.
So we're going to see an explosion of crap code.
I have two responses to this. The first is that arguably that was never the purpose of SaaS in the first place. Like, SaaS was never actually good. It was just easy, right? So like, even though I think that, yes, you're right, some companies, like people in the Discord are rightfully mentioning that a lot of this is going to hit small and medium, like SaaS vendors that target small and medium sized companies are going to have a real hit. When we're talking about actually scaling SaaS products, like SaaS products that I think in the modern era, when you're going to purchase a SaaS product, you're looking for something that essentially you can scale infinitely, that you don't have to think about at all, right? Think of things like Amazon products or Salesforce or things that, like, they're large scale products. You can't really vibe code yourself an S3 in your spare time, right? Like, that's not going to happen. It doesn't scale. There's a whole bunch of infrastructure challenges and reliability stuff. So I think, like, first of all, I think SaaS at the high scale will stick around, and then we'll see the low and medium scale is where they'll have the most trouble. But the shared responsibility and the easy button is really what SaaS has always been about, right? It hasn't been about the feature that you need. It's about the ease of getting that feature and the support of that feature long term, I guess.
That's a take.
Oh, I thought SaaS was about the money.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think a lot of people are going to be like, they're going to say, I can save this much money. And I'm not talking like Amazon level stuff, right? I'm talking like payroll management. I'm talking about video processing, image editing, like all of that stuff. You can create your own very quickly.
Yeah. So I keep seeing people making comments about, oh yeah, AI still codes crappy, and I do agree that there'll be a lot more security bugs, but no one's mentioned anything about economics. Let's just say that the companies that are targeting small and medium businesses like start to drop off because of this phenomenon. The economic impact is what I would worry about more, like overall economic impact.
Well, and that kind of takes us into our next article, unless someone has a really hot take on that one. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of a counterpoint to John's point, I guess, which is basically the National Bureau of something. They're called the National Bureau of Economic Research, which apparently is reputable. I'd never heard of them, but I'm not like an economist. So basically, they published an article or white paper, whatever you want to call it, as that analyzes the AI use at 6,000 different companies. So basically, they surveyed almost 6,000 CFOs, CEOs, etc. The stats are kind of crazy, but also kind of not that crazy. So basically 70% of firms are using AI, especially younger, more productive firms. I don't know what that means necessarily, but the big thing, like this kind of, there's articles, I'll link the article that kind of goes with the paper, but essentially the conclusion that people have been drawing from this is that AI has not made a meaningful impact on productivity. So it says, essentially the sentence in the paper says firms report little impact of AI over the last 3 years, with over 80% of firms reporting no impact on either employment or productivity. So basically, like, as of yet, we've had ChatGPT since what, 2021 is when it came out, I think. So we've had ChatGPT for 3 years or 4 years, and it still has had no meaningful impact on productivity if we're looking at 6,000 companies. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like it's like the internet, right? It's not just going to like magically double productivity overnight or whatever.
Yeah,
No, if you look at it
maybe.
a lot like the .com boom, if you go back to 2000, you remember, what was it? Like all of these companies that were on the Super Bowl, where, they got like Webvan and ePets and all this crap. And it was around 2001 that collapsed. And a lot of people were doing the exact same types of articles. Like, the internet is a fad. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, look at completely the bubble collapse. There's no question that AI is a bubble, right? And I think that the lead time is going to be a lot like what happened when the internet started taking off. So my take is, number one, yeah, that makes sense. Number two, shit changed in the last 30 days. It's not like if you go back 45, even 60 days, I'd be like, yeah, this article kind of makes sense. I hate Copilot. This isn't working. But no, the new frontier models that have just hit are way different. And I'd leave that to Brian and Derek and Bronwyn to talk about that. But
Yeah,
I do
that's what
think
I
we
was
have
going
a
to say.
situation.
So that's what I was going to say, is if you're talking about your experience of mid last year using, ChatGPT or some kind of chat bot, then I definitely would agree with that. But now with like the agentic stuff that really has only been out since like late last November, it is night and day. Like, we turned a corner, and if you're not using the latest stuff, I would definitely encourage you to go check it out. I mean, I'm not saying it's magic or perfect. It's just now, like with the scaffolding code built around something like, Opus 4.6 with Claude Code, I don't know. Either I'm really, really lucky, or I've already seen productivity gains past 1.4%. So maybe I'm lucky.
I would say you're an
love to hear what
outlier.
Brian thinks about that.
I'd say you're an outlier, Derek.
Well, that makes
Is that a
me
compliment?
special.
Actually, yes, it is.
Everyone's like looking around nervously, like,
Am I an outlier too?
I don't know if I agree with Bronwyn on that. So,
Well, we had an internal meeting earlier today addressing AI use within the company, and one of the key takeaways is that people who already know how to do a thing are much better able to leverage AI, generative AI of any kind. And if they go down the machine language and the data science rabbit holes to really be able to get into that, they can do even more. But if you don't know how to do something and you're not willing to invest the time to ensure that the output is of a decent quality, that's when you start seeing so much AI slop getting into all kinds of output.
yeah. And Bronwyn, I want to kind of expand on that because BB called me
Okay.
after the meeting. And so let me give you two examples, right? So pen test reporting, right? If somebody tries to take AI and says, give me a write-up of link local multicast name resolution, AI is going to do that, and it's probably going to be kind of crap, right? But if you communicate to AI and say, take the following text and convert it to something that can be put into a penetration testing report, and then you as the author talks about LLM&R, your experiences with LLM&R, how it's used and how it's used in this context and what it achieved, it'll do a fantastic job of writing that up. It's like a transcriptionist that kicks righteous ass. Because the more you talk, the more context that you're giving it. And that gets back to what Bronwyn was talking about. The people that have the most experience to work with these tools and feed context in these tools are the people that are getting the most gains out of these tools. The people that are trying, once again, to be lazy and have it do their job for them are the people that we're kind of seeing the slop code from.
Well, if we're looking at it at the C level, the productivity benefit that they're expecting is to replace employees, I think.
Yes.
Not like to reduce headcount or to like basically that's what they're expecting. And I think that's like right now we're still at a point where yes, agentic AI is great, yes, but it is still a tool and you need someone skilled to use it. It's not something you can just fully like. Although there is the joke of like the CEO who just says OpenClaw runs this company now, like good luck. like maybe that exists.
I mean, that's a YOLO take, sure.
Like maybe that exists, but like I don't think right now anyone is like, I am replacing myself with OpenClaw. Here, email me if you have a problem. Good luck. Hold my beer. Like I'll see you guys on the flip side. But I don't know. Maybe that'll happen someday.
Once again, I say the companies that are looking at it like that, like we're going to do what we do, but cheaper, they're going to be out of business because there's going to be a company that's going to take really brilliant people and use it to push the envelope that are going to kick their ass. So if you're looking at it like, let's fire people and make more money, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the scary thing is that a lot of the companies that said that were like the companies that are also making the AI, like Meta famously. Like Meta was like, hey, we're only going to have senior level development positions. We're going to replace all of our junior level devs with AI. It's like, okay, I mean, I know Zuck like has some hot takes or whatever, like it is what it is. That might not be reflective of the real world conditions, but I do think like they're also like, I mean, they're not really frontier model at this point. They're kind of behind, but still like, they have Llama and they have some pretty solid AI researchers at Meta. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI, I'm sorry if you're not an AI person, this show's really gonna rub you the wrong way.
We can go back to privacy. That was a fun take.
That wasn't dark at all. We were talking about Alexas and stuff. I've just put a flock camera in my driveway. I want to have a publicly accessible recording of me at all times. No, I'm just kidding. That's a different article. So the next one I want to talk about is basically the U.S. government is feuding with Anthropic. And this is kind of like we were talking about this last week internally. And I mean, I think, of course, it's Pete Hegseth is involved, and so, of course, he's going to be like all like, I'm a cowboy. I can just take you down, Anthropic, and that's not really true, and like there's a lot of drama with it. But essentially, last week, he threatened to put Anthropic on like, what is it, the sanctioned companies list or whatever, where like you're not allowed to do business with them.
It's not just the government. It would also be any contractors that are working on government stuff.
It would basically be every company can't do business with Anthropic, or else if they do any government contracting, which he threatened that, and then it sounds like this is now basically essentially Pete Hegseth is angry about how they're getting pushback from Anthropic on how they want to use AI, which my take on this is I am terrified to imagine how far you have to push it to the point where Anthropic is going to be like, hold on, don't do that. Like how bad does it have to get?
From what I understand, from what I heard last week, is that it was used in some capacity for intelligence and processing of data during the Maduro raid, of which some people ended up dead, right? And so I think the question really is does a company, once they sell a product, get to say how you use it in terms of service? And I think the answer is yes, but also, do you know who you're selling this to? It is literally the Department of War. What do you think they
This
do?
is already, yes, AI has already been used for the same thing in law enforcement, right? And like, I don't know, like maybe they're like, whoa, are we Palantir now? Ah, crap, undo.
But I think I will say, I think it's interesting that they at least push back, because I think it was a $250 million contract. And so in DoD land, that ain't nothing. A lot. That ain't much, right?
Well, okay. Also, they're hemorrhaging money either way, right? Like,
yeah, they are, right? But what I think is interesting is the response. If you don't let us use this, like normally the way this would work is be like, I don't want you using our product for this. And they'll be like, okay. And then we just stop working together. And that's it. That's the end of the conversation. But going and saying that we're blacklisting you and we're going to blacklist any company that uses you, a bit much in that situation. That's that's where it's weird, because it's not like Hexet doesn't have other options. Like, there's other AI.
Amazon
companies.
would love to build you a robot AI gun that just shoots anyone that matches the facial recognition.
You don't have to get all nasty with Anthropic. You just quietly drop them and stop using them.
You use Palantir. They put machine guns on anything.
Or Grok. Remember, Grok is in there too.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, dude. Grok would love to just be, doing this stuff.
Palantir. I mean, I've heard of them, and I don't really know a lot about the company, but I would assume they're using frontier models, because there's only a couple of companies on the planet that can make like the latest frontier models. That they just have the experience. Like, no one else is doing that, right? And so I don't think that's getting commoditized anytime soon, because it takes about 25,000 GPUs that cost about $25,000 each, and so that's on top of, that's just the hardware. That's not the data science that's involved, right? So, I mean, Anthropic's got leverage, that's for sure.
I just can't imagine. We've seen no reports that this administration is hard to deal with or hard to work with at all. No. So this is crazy to me. This is the first I'm hearing of anything like this.
I just got a signal message. Hold on.
Oh, is it about a missile strike, John?
Are there any journalists who want to add to that thread?
I'm on that thread too. Yeah. I just said set target to AI mode. I didn't know what to do. All right. Anyway, that was a joke. We're not nuking anyone at Black Hills InfoSec. John, what about this Conduent data breach? Tell me about Conduent.
I didn't know if that was a big deal or not. It's just like they're another data warehousing company, and I kicked it off at 2:00 this morning while I was reading. And the thing that gets me is they kept on saying like this could be the largest data breach in history, and I'm like, God damn, there's some stiff competition there.
I was gonna say, I think all of my data is gone.
I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe that this is the largest data breach in history. I mean,
but John, Texas said it was, and everything's bigger in Texas.
I guess maybe I don't know. I just hoping that someone would look into this, or I don't know. I didn't get why they would say it would be the largest data breach in history.
They don't know how to use grep. Okay, they asked AI, and they didn't know how to do a word count -L and figure out how many lines were in the file. I mean, definitely, it is not the biggest data breach in history. We have objective data to prove that.
Hey, did it just say 10 million people? That's nothing.
Only 10 million.
I just feel guilty bringing it up, I guess, now that I did some more research after I posted it. And it's just like, I think people are just trying to get in the news, and I fueled their fire.
No, it's okay. I will say, I've gotten several of these data breach notices, and I don't even keep track anymore of all the companies that have sent me the exact same data breach notice.
Them for a while
with the exact same. It's the same law firm. It has to be, because the same exact formatting, the same subscription to Kroll Identity Monitoring or whatever, the same BS. It's literally just the same information with the same. I don't know. Anyway, data breaches. Here we are. This one isn't special.
They took old data and repackaged it? Oh my God.
I'm just numb to it, and so much data is out there on all of us for everything. I once tried to download everything that Google Takeout had on me, and it was over 300 gig of compressed data. And I only had an Android phone for 2 years before I got my iPhone, and that really is concerning. How do they have so much data for me? Only 8 gig of it was my email, by the way.
That was all the Wi-Fi networks that you drove past in the 3 years.
It's all of the data.
Yeah. Anyone else have any top ones they want to do? On the Anthropic topic, whoa, I just rhymed unintentionally. There was this article. I'm going to post it. I didn't fully read this. Did anyone read this? It's basically a guy left Anthropic. The guy was the senior AI safety researcher. And apparently, I'm just blown away this is even a job title. Apparently, his main work that he was doing at Anthropic is to try to figure out how he could prevent Anthropic from generating AI, using AI to generate bioweapons, which is so dystopian to even say. So yeah, basically, I don't know, I didn't fully read this, but it is kind of spooky that a top AI security researcher left Anthropic and was I left and here's why, and like the tweet has now been taken down, so this is kind of the only thing that there is. Maybe this person wants to have a career in the future, so that's why they took it down. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Interesting.
It's kind of spooky.
So how much does a CRISPR device cost? Like 10 grand, 20 grand?
Yeah,
It costs 20 grand, right?
fast.
This whole conversation just keeps getting darker.
And so I
John, this is why I drink. Come on.
I know, right? This is exactly why my doctor hates me, right? Because I drink because of this. No,
my doctor, he's always asked me, how you doing on that alcohol? It's like, Doc, I work in cybersecurity. Stress is the name of the game.
I mean, so LLM AI safety at the moment is really just an illusion. Yeah, I mean, if you're using frontier models and like their web harness for like whatever ChatGPT, whatever the latest frontier model is, then sure, there are safety features built in. But you can go get some pretty powerful stuff that's has the safety constraints removed. Just out on Hugging Face or Llama, you can get an obliterated model. And I'm not saying that it'll make a bioweapon, but it will tell me how to hotwire a Volvo XC60 or make meth. So we're going down that road. And I don't know how that genie doesn't get back in the bottle. So I think the only way that I see forward is that we have to have, people paying attention to folks who are likely to do something like that. And even then, yeah, it's scary times that we're going into. So drink up.
But that really, Derek? That's your closing statement? Seriously? John, take us someone pull up on the throttle. Come on, like this is bad.
Okay.
I mean, you're inviting
steer us out of the ditch.
I just posted a story. We've got no, Bronwyn. No.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm cutting you off. No. I'm not gonna let you pick up what Derek just laid down and take us deeper. All right? No, stop. All right. So I think we need to celebrate. We've got another Perfect 10 CVE.
Okay. Now this is somehow less dystopian. This is now less dystopian.
It's not an AI product.
We've got to celebrate when we can. And apparently Dell has Recover Point for virtual machines that is under active exploitation as a CVSS score of a Perfect 10.0. So can we get a round of applause for Dell?
Okay, what is this product? I've never heard of this in my life. Recover
basically
Point
allows you to recover your virtual machines, and it has hard-coded credentials in it.
No one uses this. I'm sure there's only 10,000 customers all across DoD space. It's fine.
Yeah, well, it is. I just wanted to bring it up because you wanted something. You wanted some positivity.
This is so uplifting, John. Thank you so much.
Well, this is uplifting for pen testers on an active pen test when they find this stuff, right?
Except for there's probably no public exploit, right? Like, it's just like APTs only.
I know it's being actively exploited right now by...
if it's hard-coded creds, and this is software that runs in a VM, right?
It's root Calvin, people. I've done enough IDRAC pen tests in my day.
Apparently, that's still the default. Brian and I just learned that last week that it's still the default. Yeah. I did not know that.
Good old Calvin and then Calvin and Hobbes. Wait, no, that's a different thing.
Yeah. But I mean, so is this like software that gets installed in a virtual machine and then you can recover somehow?
Yeah,
if that's the case,
recover your virtual machines.
Yeah, so if it's a piece of software with hard-coded creds running in a virtual machine, you don't need a proof of concept. You just go get the VMDK file and start grepping. You'll find it. Right? That's Claude to find it.
In the virtual machine. It's in the service that you run on Dell systems to recover virtual machines.
Okay.
See, then you'll see this, and then it'll be like threat complexity high. And then as a pen tester, you're like, I feel good about myself because I can log in with admin.
So I'd need to have the actual hardware device and extract the firmware and find the creds?
No. You can actually access it directly. It's in an Apache Tomcat server.
Oh, even better. This gets better all the time.
I love how it's also Tomcat, just because why? Of course it is.
That's the real vulnerability.
And all of the security... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, back into depressing AI corner. Just going to steer us right back into this ditch that we're driving into. Amazon published a really interesting write-up in how a threat actor is or was using AI to augment their compromise of a bunch of FortiGate devices. So I just linked to it. It's worth a read. If you're a pen tester, like I basically sent this to my team and I was like, guys, this is us. Like this is what we're doing now. This is how we're using AI.
Was that the Russian threat actor one? I read one today that I queued up to read
Yes,
later. Okay.
correct. It is the
Yeah.
Russian one.
Okay.
Basically, they used, I mean, again, this isn't rocket science. Of course, they're using AI to speed up their workflow. That's what we're doing as pen testers. That's what everyone's doing across the board. But it is interesting how they, basically just sped up their campaign, right? They didn't really have anything, they didn't develop a 0-day or anything like that. There was no exploitation. It succeeded by exploiting exposed management ports and weak credentials with single factor auth. So it's literally just using it to help it, the threat actor's using AI to help it find things quickly and using them to exploit. So it's like, again, it's just about how fast these types of attacks are going to scale. They've already scaled pretty fast. With AI, they're going to scale even faster. People can write scripts to exploit things. People can write queries, and like AI just is good at this stuff. And so it's like, as a pen tester, you got to do the same thing, right? You got to say, okay, find me all the clients' vulnerable, exposed Fortinet devices. What credentials should I use? How should I log in? Like, it's going to tell you step by step how to do that. So I just thought it was interesting. If you're a pen tester or a defender, of course, you should be looking for this kind of stuff. But I think it's it's good that it was caught. I'm sure the AI people have their hands full trying to like automatically detect this kind of abuse, but they're gonna hit our account really quick and aggressively. So that's gonna be fun.
I was just going to say that to your point of that's what AI is good at. Exactly. It's a tool that's really good at pattern matching and speed. And so that's where the gains are going to be. And, how do you detect that? The frontier companies must be working overtime to basically do, analysis on prompts that are coming in. I mean, you have to. But I thought I read they were using DeepSeek too, which may mean they were using some combination of local models.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be, Sonic or Opus 4.6.
Yeah,
it can be
real fun is going to be when later this year when like the local models and distilled models kind of catch up to where the frontier models are now, and you can just run it on your MacBook with 64 gig of RAM, and it's as powerful as Opus 4.6 is right now. I think that's when the real fun will start.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait for my North Korean LinkedIn connections to get 12% smarter.
This has been a great cheery episode. This is
what are you talking about?
Okay.
Great. We need to find cheery news.
Aliens are going to land. They're going to land here thousands of years in the future, and they're going to pull up the show and be like, they knew everything was going to hell, and yet they still did it. Yes. We got a BBC.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit. Okay, so this is like so this is not a chicken article, but it is a hot dog article, and it kind of is. It's a little bit of stunt hacking. It's kind of I want Derek and Brian's honest take on this one because it's not everything it's cracked up to be. A journalist named Thomas Germain basically was like, I want to mess around with AI, and that's I love journalists that are like, I want to mess around with AI. Basically, what he did is he wrote a fake article about how he won a hot dog eating competition, ironically in South Dakota, which I felt seen. I was like, what do you... John Strand could have competed in that, all right? He wrote an article on his personal website that said, I won a hot dog eating competition. And then he used AI basically to ask it and say like, hey, like, who's the best hot dog eating journalist? And Gemini found the article and was like, according to this report on the 2026 South Dakota International Hot Dog Eating Championship, which doesn't exist, although John Strand might actually start that championship now. I could see that. Basically, the AI found the article and believed it. So it's not really, I don't think it's necessarily like a vulnerability. Like, Derek's take before the show was like, this is AI's job. It finds articles and it reads them and it tells you what it learns. Like, I guess like, it's kind of like search poisoning. Is this a concern at a high level for AI? Like, what are our feelings on this?
Well, okay. This doesn't really feel like new news because I'm trying to remember how long ago I started seeing a lot of discussion about AI slop getting fed into AI models and just the overall quality of the model content going down and becoming a vicious cycle. And the frontier model developers trying to figure out how to avoid having slop, but having good content. And it's an ongoing challenge. So, it's not news to me.
Yeah, I didn't I don't know. It might be news to other people. I agree. It's kind of like the breach story that we talked about earlier. It's like it's in the news, but should it be? I don't know.
I guess, my take is that the more I see people say, I tricked AI or I got AI to do this, it keeps making me. So AI is not a person or like a single entity or a thing, right? It's basically a really powerful mathematical tool that when you go and use it, say on an online service, you have your little instance of the model that you're using. You're not using the same instance that everyone else is. It doesn't learn from what you put into it like immediately. And so the more that, I trick the AI or I got it to do something, it's not that you trick the model, like the system that is, taking those articles and regurgitating them, that maybe you could say there's a flaw there, but I don't know. I don't think this is a flaw, but I'm not saying it can't be abused.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, that's one of the challenges from a security standpoint when you're talking about hacking an LLM or an agentic AI is because there are multiple moving parts. When you're talking about an LLM, you have the model and that's the data set, but then you have the tools, which is where the guardrails and other things come in. Guardrails can be put in at multiple levels, but it's not a single attack surface. There are multiple points where you can attack an LLM. And so saying, I tricked AI, okay, great. Can you be more specific? And that's it feels to me when I read titles like that, when I read headlines like that, I think, oh, this is another National Enquirer article.
Or hacking toaster articles, right? Like if you remember for a while, whenever IoT started exploding, you'd go to cons and there would be people that hacked this device, that device, that device. And it was like we always joked, it's like it's another hacking a toaster talk where I was able to gain access to the firmware of this light. And I don't want to I take a little bit different tack, Bronwyn. I think that all of these are important because they kind of push the narrative and the conversation forward. So in a lot of these hacking toaster presentations, there was absolutely something to be learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it may, not every single article and not every single con talk is something that's going to revolutionarily change everything. A lot of it's just going to be kind of filling in the gaps. And there is value, right? So I do think that there's values to these because it is going to get the narratives across. Maybe it's going to resonate with a different group of people, even if it is some type of repetition. Oh, the question of can it run Doom? I think that's another great example, right? That's a meme, right? Can it run Doom? But every one of those stories where they get Doom to run on a pregnancy test or on anything, there's cool little things to learn. So I think that these stories are important because it's a different perspective, a different take. And it's fine as long as it is what it is, right? It's not earth shattering. You start getting into trouble whenever you have vendors that do hacking toasters or I tricked AI presentations, and then they create a logo, they trademark a name associated with it, like AR Lutz or AI Lutz or something like that. Trademark registered by hacking security firm X. That's where it starts to get a bit obnoxious at that point.
That's when we send Brian Furman by their booth at DerbyCon to have a chat with them.
Dude, that was so funny. Like, so years and years and years ago, Brian and another employee that'll go unnamed, we were at DerbyCon, and they had a vendor. Brian, I can't even remember what they had or they were trying to sell. It was
something with machine learning, and
it was way before, it wasn't baked. And Brian sits there and starts asking them like what their algorithms are and like really, really hard questions. That booth did not come back the next day. Like
poor guy.
Or again after that. And you guys were being relatively nice, I thought. You were just asking valid questions.
I would just ask him. It's like, no, what kind of machine learning and what is it doing? Really, what is it doing?
Brian, you need to understand it's a proprietary AI algorithm. Yeah. It's proprietary.
I think that's when Brian said, wait, you can trademark math? Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, from an AI like training and technical perspective, is this a real problem? Like poisoned or improper search results? Like, does this get just fixed in the way that LLMs work automatically, or is this an actual problem?
Well, so on this side, right, where it's if it just going out, it's doing a search because the person asked a question and it goes out and does a web search and this is the one source that it found. I mean, how does it have any way to know the difference if this is real or not? I mean, it's not like it's suddenly going to start doing investigative work, at least at this point, to determine all the sources that are referenced within this one article of who was the hot dog eating champion. I mean, I would liken this similar to like seeing something on Facebook and then just taking it at face value. I mean, it's similar with AI, right? Like if you ask it something and you get it back, I mean, it's kind of important to maybe go do your own research to make sure that what you're getting back is legitimate and valid. Otherwise, I mean, it could just be it's literally just a random story off the internet, right? So checking this, I would say at this point, it's kind of more on the users. Obviously, if we're talking about from like a retraining perspective, when they actually go to train the model and they're pulling all this information in, that's a different problem, right? But I mean, how do you fix that problem at scale? Like with the sheer amount of data that is on the internet, trying to filter out all the bad information from the good information, that's a tough problem. That's, I mean, still very much an active area of research. Is how do you curate that data, and trying to look at getting data from more reputable sources, reputable people. And in general, it's a difficult problem. And this is just one kind of data point of at the end of the day, you got to be careful about over trusting the information that it gives to you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, I think this is the kind of a little bit of a deeper discussion, but like, do we think that the average person has the literacy? I mean, this gets into like, again, when I was a kid, they were like, don't trust Wikipedia, anyone can edit it. And now I would say Wikipedia is on the would be considered a reputable source in most contexts, especially if it has citations and things, compared to an AI generated article about, John Strand or whatever. So I guess, do we think people have the literacy to know that they can't always trust AI search results?
No. Not at all.
And our literacy is going down, because you talk about Wikipedia. When I was a kid, it was like you can't trust the encyclopedia. Like we could not use encyclopedias as sources, which sucked when you're writing a paper and it's literally the only books in your house. So
yeah,
no,
I had to tell my daughters.
No, go ahead. Yeah, talk about your daughter. That'll be a cheery thing, hopefully.
Yeah, I had it. Well, so this is hope for humanity, right? My 15-year-old daughter, who is a freshman in high school, she's a really competitive athlete, and she's got straight A's, and she thinks AI is stupid. And the reason why is because all of her classmates are using it to cheat. And she's like, y'all suck. I'm getting better than you because I'm not using that tool. And so I'm letting it go. Like everything created with AI is bad to her. So I'm going to let it go until she learns some linear algebra. Then we'll have a talk.
Yeah.
There's so going to be a Darth Vader moment with you and your daughter at some point in the future. Like she's going to find out, Dad, what is it you actually do? I work on AI all day long. And she's going to be like, no, what you do? And with that, let's wrap up. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's get out of here.
Whoa. Hold on. John, just ready to fucking ride his horse into the sunset over here. First of all, okay, get off your horse. Hold on.
Hold on there, partner.
First of all, we have ZGF winners. Okay, we have ZGF winners. We have yeah, that's true. We have Zef. ZEF is the only 3 people competed in last week's challenge, and only 1 person solved it. So it must have been a real doozy, or AI was broken for a week. We don't know. ZEF, congratulations! You win a year of anti-siphon training courses. So congratulations. We should have already emailed you. The other thing is Brian and Derek are here to plug their webcast. And you should go to it. If you're listening to this news article or this news show being like, all this AI stuff is spooky and I don't understand it and I want to learn how it works. First of all, you should come to the Sock Summit if you wear socks. If you're from Florida, you can come barefoot. All shoe types are allowed. But yeah, scan that. Don't scan it, but come either way. It's on March 25th. It'll be virtual. There's also, I believe, training. I think it's like 1 day of talks and then training afterwards is usually what they do. But either way, just register and it'll tell you what to do. Also, Derek and Brian, you guys have webcasts or upcoming courses and things. Can you plug it for us? I'm scared. Please help me with AI.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
so
Brian.
we got a couple things coming up. So this one that we've got up here is actually the furthest out from now, which is a 2-day course on attacking, defending, and leveraging AI. So if you're interested in any or all of those topics, it'd be a great course to come and check out. Moving one step back from that is going to be a workshop. So 4 hours on hacking AI LLM applications. That's a real fun one. So we go through some of the fundamentals of AI LLMs, a bit of the history, so you can get a better understanding of where all this came from and what it really means underneath the hood. That really it's just math. And also, we have an awesome CTF that's part of that, so you can get a lot of hands-on experience. And then coming up promptly is the we are just cruising through this. So there's a webcast that's on Wednesday.
Megan is like, ha ha ha, I'm evil.
Yeah. We got a webcast on Wednesday where we will go through OWASP. There we go. Now it's back up. The OWASP LLM top 10, go through each of those points, what matters, what doesn't, and what you should be concerned about. And then lastly, that other one that was on there.
We have
there
a
we
podcast.
go. For those that don't know, in addition to this newscast that is on each week, we also have a weekly podcast on AI security topics where we discuss news topics, take deep dives into AI topics, bring on guests, and Q&A from the community. So if you're interested at all, check us out.
Yeah, so if you didn't get your fill of AI, this one.
It's less depressing, I would say.
Ooh, I don't know that I'd go that far.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We don't always talk about the news, so there is that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Now John's allowed to throw a Molotov cocktail right into this show.
I've taught today. I'm tired. Let's get out of here.
I didn't know you taught.
Thank you all for coming. Have a very safe week. Bye-bye.
Go take a nap, John.